There's many different ways to make money in Hypixel Skyblock. Some people are smart with the money and rely on other people's laziness and flip, whether it's on the bazaar or the auction house. Other people chance to look at dungeons, or maybe even Kudra. You could invest hours upon hours, days upon days and billions of coins into mining, or even settle for something with slightly less setup like farming. However, undeniably Slayers are a massive part of the game. Not only can you gain tons and tons of Skyblock XP, but there's items that you can drop from Slayers that are essential through the game and can't be obtained anywhere else. Meaning that given the right circumstances and a bit of luck, Slayers can be ridiculously good in terms of making money. Throw 3 perk Aatrox in the mix and you're really cooking. But today we're going to take a look at Blaze Slayer. How Blaze Slayer can be by far one of the best money making methods in the game. Now before we get into it, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. Also, you should subscribe to the channel, it does help out a lot. And you should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. Now first of all, before I even start talking about how much you could potentially make from this Slayer, I want to say that I have to be probably one of the most skill-issued players on this game, granted the gear that I have. And for those people reluctant to get into Blaze Slayer, if I can do it, or if I can do it at some point, then anyone can do it, trust me. The investment as well doesn't have to be as big as you actually think. It is sad that they basically patched the spot where you could get them in down here and kill them way easier. That means that the summons and the spawns didn't start running around and they actually stayed in one spot, which made it way easier. Nevertheless, when it comes to Blaze Slayer, you've obviously got 2 daggers that you use. And of those daggers, you have 3 tiers of each dagger. Obviously, you've got the Fire Dust and the Twilight being tier 1. Then you've got the Mordridge and the Kindlebane dagger for tier 2. And then tier 3, you've got the Death Ripper, and then also the Pyro Chaos. I don't know why I've always struggled with that, but it's not even a difficult one to say. Now, I've been able to do tier 4 blazes with tier 2 daggers. I completed a fair few. To be honest, I've not done Blaze Slayer for a long time. Tier 3 daggers help massively, but you don't need them. You don't need them to kill tier 4. It's just going to be a lot easier. Now, the difference in price between tier 3 daggers and tier 2 daggers is absolutely ridiculous. I'd say to get 2 decent tier 2 daggers, you probably spend maybe 50 to 60 million. And to get 2 decent tier 3 daggers, you're probably going to be spending like 1.6, maybe even 1.7 billion. Don't get me wrong though, tier 3 daggers aren't a bad investment. You can always sell them in the future. Now, to understand why Blaze Slayer is so good for coins, we just need to take a look at the drops. So, from every single Blaze Slayer that you do, you are 100% guaranteed to get Derelict Ash. And the amount you get is between 110 and 155 per boss. If you were to insta-buy 110 Derelict Ash from the bazaar, that's just less than 80k. So that's worst case scenario from each boss, you get an 80k back. Best case scenario, you get 155. And that means you're going to get 112k back. Just for killing the actual Slayer, which is pretty ridiculous. That's a guarantee. I mean, you're not guaranteed to get 112k, but you're guaranteed to get 80k back at a minimum. So that means for tier 4 Blaze Slayer, at the moment it's 72k to start, but that is purely because we have Aatrox in Jerry. So obviously that means that a regular price to start the boss, and well, according to this right here, would be 144k, because of course that's double what we have here. Then you've got a 7.62% chance of dropping a bundle of Magma Arrows. This is unlocked at Blaze Slayer 1. On the 8H, that's selling for 285k. Then we have the Mana Disintegrator that drops 3.56% of the time, unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 2. They sell for about 650k each. And then we have the Scorch Books. They've got a 2.03% chance of dropping, and they're unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 2. This Power Stone sells for over 1.8 million coins. And then you've got a range of different distillates. They all unlock at Blaze Slayer level 3. All of them drop between the range of 16 to 24 in amount. All of them have a 4.57% chance to drop, except the Gabagool distillate, which is 2.54%. That of course correlates with the price. The Gabagool distillates are 120k each. Think about it, if you were to drop 24 of those, that is 2.88 million coins, which is not too bad at all for the odds. Then we have the Scorched Power Crystal, unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 4 with a 3.05% chance of dropping. That's selling on the bazaar for 2.2 million coins. Then we're going to move on to some of the rarer drops, but let me just say that up to now, what if we had like maybe 4 or 5 drops that are well over a million coins that are really relatively likely to actually happen? Of course, with more Slayers, the higher Slayer level you get, the better reward you unlock. Anyway, we have the Archfiend dice unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 4, with a 1.02% chance of dropping. These sell for around about 5 million coins each. Then, with a 1.27% chance of dropping, we have the Fire Respect 3 book unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 5. That book selling for 1.8 million coins. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a good Slayer if we didn't have an RNG drop that is a rune. And that's the Fiery Burst rune. Fiery Burst rune 1. Okay, that's got a 0.2% chance of dropping, unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 5. There's only one currently on the H, and that's a Fiery Burst rune 3. And it's 20 million coins. So who knows how much the actual rune is worth? Who knows? We're just going to skip past the flawed gemstones. Then we have a duplex book that you can drop, unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 6. And that's a 1.78% chance of dropping, which is actually really, really decent odds for what it is. Now, duplex books have dropped in price quite a lot over the past few months, and they are at 11 million coins, but at the same time, they're relatively common to drop. Next up, we have a high class dice, has a 0.25% chance of dropping, unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 7. These are currently selling for around about 30 million coins on the auction house. Even though the high class dice is about 7 times less likely to drop than a duplex book, and only 3 times the price, this still isn't bad odds at all for a drop that's worth 30 million coins. Now, next up we have Wilson's Engineering Plans. Okay, unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 7, and comes in with one of the lowest drop chances of everything at a 0.09% chance. I never said Blaze Slayer was perfect, and I think this is just a classic example. You've got your rarest drop costing, what, 11 mil? Maybe 13 mil actually. Maybe I'm not doing too much of an injustice. It's just a bit naff if you get this really, because it's basically the same price as a duplex book. And the duplex book is about, what, 18, 19 times more likely to drop. And then, even worse, we have the Sub-Zero Inverter. It's unlocked at Blaze Slayer level 7, and it has a 0.09% chance to drop. They're currently selling for 4 million coins. So for the chances, that is just way, way worse. Now, this isn't where you're going to make your money. Realistically, you're going to make your money from high-class dice, duplex books, and then like I said, there's just an array of other items that are relatively likely to actually drop that are going to make you millions of coins. Now, as with all Slayers, of course there's an element of RNG that plays in all of this. Just because Skyblock tells us, okay, this is the chance to get something, doesn't mean that it's going to drop. Now, if we take a look at something like Revenant Slayer, it's a Slayer that's probably much easier, lower barrier to entries as opposed to Blaze Slayer, and on face value, it probably looks better, considering you have a Warden Heart that you can drop, which sells for around about 170 million coins. The base chances of dropping a Warden Heart is 1 in 10,000. However, it only sells for 170 million coins. Whereas if we compare that to a high-class dice, for instance, that you drop from Blaze Slayer, the chances of dropping this are 1 in 400, and it sells for 30 million. So that means, if we're just simply going off the chances that we've been given by Hypixel and what they work their RNG meters off, you're going to drop 25 high-class dices in the same period of time, or the same amount of bosses that it would take you to get a Warden Heart on average. Now, a Revenant is quicker. A tier 5 Rev is quicker. I mean, obviously you can get the tier 4 Blazes down to a T. If you can, then great. But a tier 5 Rev is quicker. So like, say for example, I don't know, maybe you could kill 3 Revs in the time that it takes to kill 1 Blaze. You're still going to drop 8.3 dice in the time that it takes you to drop a Warden Heart, which equates to 250 million coins, which is, what, 80 million coins more than a Warden Heart. Say, for instance, if you could do them really quickly, and you did the full 25 in the same period of time, you could make 750 million coins as opposed to the Warden Heart. Now, of course, along the way to dropping that high-class dice, you might drop, I don't know, a couple of duplex books, or, in theory, you should probably drop like 10 in that time. Or an array of other drops that are going to bag you millions of coins. That's not to say that in your run-up to dropping a Warden Heart, that you're not going to drop, well, in theory, you should drop 6 Shards of the Shreddeds and 5 Smite 7s and 10 Scythe Blades. But from experience, that just does not happen. I've filled 3 meters and I've dropped nowhere near that many. But just looking at the chances, you can see, this is just obviously a comparison, but you can see the difference. It's ridiculous. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments in terms of Blaze Slayer, money making, and comparing it to other Slayers. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.